I'm up. It is September 15th, and the end of the summer totally got away from me. Like, completely, totally got away from me. And I've been to quite a few book sales. I recorded when I went to book sales, but my whole plan and idea of doing the book sale series the way I really wanted to do it, which was like to take you along like as a vlog as we were going, just has not been happening this summer. We will see for the rest of the year. But I did want to talk about some of the book sales that I went to and some of the books that I got. So now I can't remember which books I got at which sales, but I did go to the Wall Library sale, and I also went to the Manasquan Library sale, and these are some of the books that I found. I went to the Manasquan Library sale first. It's in Manasquan, New Jersey. It is a library sale. They all used to always have a sale rack of books, but this was more of like a downstairs room, and I think they have it a couple of times a year. And I've never actually been to that downstairs room, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. I didn't go right at the beginning. They said it was bananas right at the beginning, but because I've had such bad luck with the quality of people who go right at the beginning and the rudeness of people who go right at the beginning, I didn't want to go this time. I just didn't feel like it. But next time I think I would try it, because I don't know if they allow scanners or anything like that. So I think I would give it a whirl. And that one was pretty picked over by the time that I got there, but there was definitely some good books to be had, and it was very cheap. So I got quite a few books there. I like Manasquan as a place. Are you done? One thing that I love about the Manasquan Library is because it's in a shore town, because it's in a town that has a lot of tourists, it has a like rent a book, so you can rent a book for like 50 cents a day, which I think is so great. Good for the library, good for people on vacation who want to get a book. You don't have to get a library card, you don't have to do whatever, you can just rent the book for however much. I'm sure they take your like ID or something so that if you don't pay for the book, or maybe they take your credit card, so if you end up never returning the book, they charge you. But I just think it's a great idea, and I kind of wish all shore libraries did that. I think it's smart. Books that I absolutely know that I got at the Manasquan Library are Bluebird Bluebird by Attica Locke. This is the first in a series by Attica Locke. I've only ever read one Attica Locke book before, and that was The Cutting Season. I believe she does all like southern-based mysteries, and I think that she has a couple of different series, and I believe that Bluebird Bluebird features her most famous detective, if that is like an actual detective or a amateur sleuth or just a random person, I'm not sure. The Cutting Season I thought was really, really interesting. I didn't think it was like a super thrilling thriller or a excruciatingly exciting mystery, but to me it felt like a good kind of that cross between cozy mystery and domestic mystery, but wrapped up in a good kind of literary book in general. So I really enjoyed that, and I'm looking forward to this. And then I also got Barracoon by Zora Neale Hurston, which is her nonfiction book. This one is the story of the last black cargo, just like it says on the tin. And I believe the title is possibly a slur that people were called, or at least would be considered a slur now. It was just what they were called back in the day. But so I'm excited to read this one. It's edited by Deborah G. Plant and forward by Alice Walker, so I think it'll be good just to read more Zora Neale Hurston in general. I have a couple of her other books, but I've actually only read Their Eyes Were Watching God. And then on the way home from the Manasquan Library sale, I stopped at a couple of Little Free Libraries, and in one of the Little Free Libraries, I got Japan in the Passing Lane, Satoshi Kamada, with an introduction by Ronald Dorr. This is an insider's account of life in a Japanese auto factory. So this was written in the 80s. It was translated and edited by Tetsuro Akimoto, and it was written in 1982. And the introduction was in 1982, so I think it was kind of on the craze of the 1980s Japanophile kind of love. You know, there was movies taking place in Japan, or the kind of transplant of Japan. There was a movie, I think, with Michael Keaton or someone that took place in a auto factory. So I think this kind of was like on the edge of that, and just America's obsession with Japan in general in the 80s. That was like when manga really came over here. That was when a lot of the Japanese culture that we see, like sushi and things like that, came over here. So I think this would be a really interesting one to read. It's definitely like big margins, large font, and a super fun nonfiction, I think. It is not that long either. It's only 211 pages. It's currently, as I'm filming this, September, so this would actually be a really good one to read for shorty September. Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl, Harriet Jacobs writing as Linda Brent. I don't know what that means. I know that this is a slave narrative. I know that this is a true account, but I'm not sure if it was dictated or if this person wrote as a white person, like wrote under a white pseudonym with the idea that it would get published. This is on my list of slave narratives to pick up and to read and to learn more about American history, to learn more about the history in America of enslavement and of enslaved people. So I'm super excited to get to this one. It sounds funny to say it like that because obviously like these are not fun books, but they are important books. And then I went to the Wall Library sale, which you know is just like my local library sale. They have it 4 or 5 times a year, and I do really love it there. It's like less and less each year. I think they get less donations each year, but also they still do allow scanning. So I know that people come in there right away and go bananas and are rude and get in people's way. I went the first day, but I went later in the day to kind of miss all of that. And even so, there were quite a few people who were being rude, who were like, I don't know, it was like their first day on the planet. Like, I don't understand. They were like asking for specific books, and they were asking why it wasn't organized. The books weren't alphabetized, and it's just like, have you never been to a library sale? Have you never been to any kind of like sale in this kind of capacity of these little old ladies who are organizing these sales, these volunteers who are organizing these sales, these people who are doing this for charity, and they just act very entitled and very much like it's their first day on earth. But I got a couple of good books. Not too many that I wanted to call out, but I did get The Governesses by Anna Serre, or Serre, and this is a translated work. It was translated from the French by Mark Hutchinson. I've read a couple of other books translated by Mark Hutchinson, and I like his translations. And then I think this is about governesses, and it just seemed really slim and sweet. I've never heard of this book. It's very, very short. This would be a good one for Novella November because it comes in at 108 pages. So this is a definite possibility for that. I also picked up the book of Frank Herbert. So this is 10 Great Science Fiction Adventures by the author of Dune. I thought this was a great vintage cover. One of the things that Wall Library sale was always really, really good for was vintage covers and vintage copies of things and mass market paperbacks, but those are getting less and less. So I think the people who have those collections are not there anymore, or they've passed away, or they're done giving to the library for whatever reason. So we get less and less of that. But it's kind of worth it just to go and get a few of the vintage mass market paperbacks. And I thought this was cool and probably has some good stories. 2 more vintage copies that I got was, I always pick up any Kurt Vonnegut Jr. vintage copies that I see because I know most people don't want these copies, but these are my favorite copies with the sprayed edges. This is God Bless You, Mr. Rosewater. I have quite a few of these. I've never read this one. I can never remember which ones are novels and which ones are short stories, but this one is a novel. So eventually I will read these, and I'm excited to do so. Then I also got a vintage copy of The Westing Game by Ellen Raskin. Peter, who used to be on here, suggested this one for me, and I have a copy of it that's like a more modern copy. And I guess this is kind of like a puzzle, almost a choose your own adventure. I think it has like puzzles in it, and then you can like skip forward and back. Mystery book. So I've never actually read this, but like I said, the cover that I have is great, but this vintage cover I just couldn't pass up, so I thought this was a fun one to get. If I love this book, I will keep both. If I don't love this book, I'll pick which one I want more, and then I will donate the other one. And then this I didn't pick up at a library sale, but I couldn't resist picking this up when I saw it at the Goodwill. It is a copy of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. That's my all-time favorite book. I collect copies of the book, so I have quite a few coverways, but I've never seen this coverway. it looks like a towel. Like, how cool is that? I was so excited to find it, and I was so excited to pick it up. So it has like the terry cloth and the embroidered looking title. It has like a little tag that says 42. It has a digital watch. I just thought it was so cool that I couldn't resist it for $1.99. I would get any Hitchhiker Guide editions that I don't have already anyway, but I was very happy to get this one that I've never seen before. And then the last thing that I wanted to do right now with you today is I got a package in the mail just now, just a few moments ago, and these are some books that I ordered off of eBay. I don't usually get used books off of eBay or used books online at all, but this year I kind of have been getting a lot because I've been getting books that I have already read for the most part, but that I want to keep in my collection. So I did get a copy of You Should Be So Lucky used online because I had read that earlier in the year and I really, really liked it. I have not made my September wrap up yet, but this book is going to feature in a couple of different videos, and you'll probably see most of those videos before you see this video. But I ended up reading a book by Doris Miles Disney, and Doris Miles Disney was a queen of crime, a American mystery writer. Well, I mean, could she be called a queen of crime? Maybe I call every great female author queen of crime, but she was writing at the same time as like Dorothy Simpson, who wrote the Inspector Thanet books, and kind of at the tail end of people like Mary Roberts Rinehart and Agatha Christie and Dorothy L. Sayers. I think more in the 50s, 60s kind of eras. But her main character in the book that I read featured this main character is a male detective. So he's a male inspector for the USPS, for the United States Postal Service, and he investigates male crime. And I just find that so interesting. What an interesting premise. What an interesting idea for a series. And then also, I love the USPS. I love the mail. So I was super excited to find that. I think I found it at the Wall Library sale earlier this year. So I decided that I needed to get more of her books, and I got a lot of 12. So these are 12 books by Doris Miles Disney. Some of them are in that same series, some of them are not. So I haven't looked at these yet. I literally just opened the box. Blackmail, the first one that I pulled out, is the book that I've already read. This is a nicer copy than the copy that I read. Great cover. I love the covers of these. So this one features Inspector Madden, or Detective Madden. I think he's called Inspector Madden. I don't know where this fits in the series though. Like, I don't know if they're in order. So I really did enjoy this one. You can see all of my thoughts in my September wrap up. Then I also got The Last Straw. This does not seem to be part of the USPS series. We have A Night of Clear Choice. Looks like somebody's going to be poisoned with some whiskey. Oh, okay. This one also does not seem to be Inspector Madden. Now, I'm not sure if she has another inspector or if there's other series that happen with her books. I feel like Doris Miles Disney, like Helen McCloy, who I read one of her mysteries, and I have a couple of others. These women were great mystery writers writing in America, but they weren't good enough or innovative enough maybe to hold the popular fascination. So like Mary Robert Rinehart, I think, has more longevity because so many of the tropes that we know today she like invented and she used to great extent, and her books are hilarious, and she's just like a step above even good mystery writers. So I think Doris Miles Disney is going to be forgotten. She's going to become completely obscure. You know, these books are probably out of print. I couldn't find them in the library. Maybe you can get them digitally, I'm not sure, but I didn't see anything about them. So I don't want her to fall into obscurity. I want to make sure that at least she's remembered by someone, by me, and by my channel. Oh, Three's a Crowd. Yikes, risque. This one also seems to not be part of the Post Office Mysteries. We have Who Rides a Tiger? Here Lies. These all sound so good. They smell vintage, that's for sure. The Magic Grandfather. So this one has blackmail. This could be in the Postal Service Mystery series. I don't know what that series is called. I don't even know if it's marked off as a series, but I know that the main character, Inspector Madden, does show up in some of her other books. This one also features letters, so I would assume this one also has Inspector Madden in it. That Which is Crooked. Some more poisoning, it looks like. Mrs. Meeker's Money. Oh no. As a fraud perpetrated through mails, the case falls under jurisdiction of Postal Inspector Madden. So this is definitely in that series. Very exciting. The Hospitality of the House. Possibly Strangling. And lastly, Shadow of a Man. Yeah, so these all look amazing. I think it's interesting that these will all have the same coverway. You know, a lot of times when you pick up vintage books, they don't. But these were all written in the 50s and 60s, 1964, 1965. So if I had to guess, these were the first and only printing. This is 1946, so this is one of the older ones. Who Rides a Tiger? She probably didn't have a lot of books made from her books, so I'm super excited to have the ones that I do, and I will definitely be reading them. That's another book sale video. It is now September, like I said. I don't know if I will be going to another book sale this month. I might not go to another one until December. Our book sale series might be coming to an end. We will see. We will need to do a little recap of how this year of book sales went, what we think of this idea, both for consumptionism and for my TBR being out of control, etc., but also for content in the channel. What we think the final number of my TBR is going to end up at the end of the year, at least the amount of books that I've bought in 2025. So let me know if you have any thoughts. Let me know if you have any ideas. Let me know what you'd like to see going forward. I definitely didn't get to do this series exactly how I wanted to do it, but I have had fun doing it. But I think next year we're going to have to make some changes. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!